Okay, guys, hope everyone is having a great day. It is Wednesday, November 9th, the day after Election Day. So, going to go over a couple of things here. Just waiting for some people to join the live stream. We currently have 15 minutes to the bell. 15 minutes to the opening bell. So, really quickly, this is what we're looking at. The overall market, very choppy. Very choppy. Looking at the micro E-minis, you can see here, we're starting to make this, downward, lower highs and, coming into previous pivot point right here that we saw a bounce on. So we'll see what happens at the open. Trades that I've taken so far is MACK, 500 shares, small position, but just scalped this move up. This had a really good catalyst. So up 236 on the day. That's all I've done so far. All right, so like to start out every morning, obviously looking at the economic calendar for the day. So today we have wholesale inventories at 10 a.m. Nothing crazy there. At 11 a.m., we have the Richmond Fed President Tom Barkin speaking on the outlook for the economy. So that's at 11 a.m. That would be something that I would be aware of. So everybody be aware, 11 a.m. If you guys are in a trade, if you're scalping, if you're trading futures, whatever you're trading, just know after 11 a.m., when we see these, headlines come out from a Fed president, sometimes they could move markets. So there's going to be a lot of that type of Fed talk this week. And then ahead of, obviously, which is tomorrow, massive, massive day. CPI. This whole week, outside of Election Day, this whole week was hinging on CPI and how we're going to trade this day. This is a tough day to trade. I've gotten very chopped up trading a CPI day. I've gotten very chopped up trading an FOMC day. I've also made a lot of money trading these really big days because you get a lot of volatility. So there's a lot of, potential there to make money. There's also a lot of potential to lose money. So if you're somebody that struggles with risk management, I don't recommend trading a day that could see really wild swings before direction is in your favor. So that's the economic calendar. And then we have the Veterans Day holiday on Friday. So this is the big day, Thursday. That is the big one to look at. All right, so something that's obviously jumping out at just about everyone is the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin tanked yesterday. Tanked. I mean, the last 5 days down almost 20%. I think yesterday alone down over 12%. Massive amount of liquidity issues. Certain coins didn't hold up. FTX didn't have liquidity. It takes just, we saw this in the financial crisis. It takes just a couple of things. Over leverage, right? You get caught on the wrong side, and all of a sudden, you have to sell something to cover a mistake. So to, get liquid again, Bitcoin had to be sold off, and that's why we're down so much. And this is going to be, continuing to be a problem going forward until there's some kind of, I know nobody likes to hear it, but, some kind of regulation may start to stabilize something like this. So these types of leverage events and lack of liquidity don't cause a market to crash like this, because there's a lot of retail investors, there's a lot of people that got hurt by this and are getting hurt by it. And they really shouldn't be. But you do have to realize, what you're trading here. This is a very volatile, just like the stock market, but this is just, it's a tough place to be right now. All right. Let's look at the bonds, the bond yields. Well, something that you guys know that I'm watching very carefully is this 3-month, right? The 3-month right now is yielding more than the 10-year. So 4.20, 10-year, 4.15. A week ago, this started, the inversion of the yield curve as far as, the 3-month goes. The yield curve was already inverted all year long with the 2-year and the 10-year. But once the 3-month gets involved, that really starts to suggest that a recession is coming. We don't know when, but every time this has happened, we've seen a recession. 6 months, maybe a year later. So 2023 could be pretty rough as far as that goes, if this continues this way. So just keep an eye on that, just showing you guys the kind of things that I look at every day. Let's see if anybody's jumping in here. A lot of people still sleeping. I guess they were up late watching the election. And let's just go over that right now, because a lot of the trading was, in my opinion, and I'm not going to get political, but it was probably hinging on the Republicans taking over so that you have a divided government, so that the Democrats don't control everything. And it goes the same way with Republicans controlling everything. The stock market likes gridlock, all right? So if you have the Republicans in control of the Senate, you still have the president that is a Democrat, nothing really can get done. So what we haven't seen, which is what was expected, was this red wave, right? You've heard in the past a blue wave. Well, we thought there would be a red wave where the Republicans can take over the Senate and possibly will take over the House. That was almost a given, and now it's even closer than expected. But also to take over the Senate. Now, the Senate is super, super tight right now. You have this Georgia with Herschel Walker and Warnock. That's a very close one. And Nevada, same thing. These are very close, and it's really going to come down to, who takes over the Senate. They did lose a seat. Pennsylvania, Dr. Oz ended up losing. So that was a big blow to Republicans. So how the market reacts is going to be interesting. We like to see these rallies after election day, especially on the midterms. But I don't know if that's going to happen if you have not a divided government, but if you have control all for one side. So we need to just watch this, see what happens right now. So right now, GOP's got Dems beat by 1 in the Senate, but this is just, like I said, there's a lot that are starting to swing Democrat that aren't in here yet. So it's going to be close. You need a 51, obviously, for a majority. The U.S. House, you need 218 for majority. Republicans sitting at 199, Dems at 172. These are the House races here. A lot of them are very, very close. I mean, you can go down the list. There's so many races that are going to come down. It could take all day today. Some of them could be runoffs. I don't know. I don't even know if by the end of the day we'll know anymore. So that's just adding to the already tough day that we have coming up tomorrow with CPI. CPI is definitely going to be something that we're looking at. These are the expected, these are the estimates right here. Core, headline CPI, these are what we're being estimated. So we're not going to want to see numbers that are higher than these. If we see numbers that are higher than these and inflation remains hot, that's a problem. So, we'll see what happens. The jobs numbers, we saw unemployment tick up, and then this morning we're seeing Meta really lay off a lot of workers. So, we'll just have to see what happens. Going on to, let's look at the SPY daily chart. Let's see what we're working with, guys. This is 2022. What a beautiful year, right? Just what a great year for stocks. Obviously joking. There we go. Hey, what's up, Rob? Yeah, Jack, you're right, Jack. For sure. Hope you guys are doing well. So anyway, we're seeing a lot, and on the Qs also, I'll get into that in a second. We're seeing a lot of doji candles lately. These are just candles of indecision on the daily chart that, there's not much conviction there, right? We've seen decent trading, and, the SPY is over the 50 moving average, but it's a heavily down-sloping 50 and over the 20 EMA. These are really good indicators that I like to see for potential direction. Now, we do have this ascending trend line that we were bouncing off of here, and this was a really good day right here. Nice bounce off that trend line. So, we'll see if this can continue or if we start to see today, which is what I'm expecting, is one of these choppy days, low volume type of days ahead of CPI. It could be very difficult to trade if you're seeing, direction not clear. And that's what these candles are. These dojis, there's nothing clear about them. So, just be aware of that. We have 3 minutes to the bell. On the Qs, same thing. Look at this doji here yesterday. That is indecision. It's also a rejection at that 20 EMA. So, the NASDAQ has something to prove here, but it is holding up. It's holding up on the lows here. So, we'll see if we can maybe get a year-end rally. Who knows, though? Honestly, I wish I can tell you guys, but my crystal ball is a little foggy right now, for sure. Definitely not clear on, where we're going. But that's why I like to look at these indicators. They definitely help out. Now, looking at the micro E-minis, if we look at this on the 4-hour chart, this is what I have. I have a trend line here, right? All the way back to August. And then I have this trend line here. This is starting to get really, really tight. So when something starts to get tight like this, expect a big move, all right? One way or the other. We could be getting tight ahead of, obviously, the CPI tomorrow. Maybe that's what either breaks us out or possibly breaks us down if the numbers aren't good. So, we are still very, very much in a bear market. We're trying a bear market rally. The trend for a month or so, has been up. It's been sort of difficult. We've seen big drops. We've seen big rips. But that is the trend so far, has been up since Powell spoke. We're almost back to that level, but it would need a breakout, a breakout to get over there. around 3,900 or so on the S&P 500. What's up, Eric? By the way, it's cold. It is cold up here in New York. It was just 75 degrees 2 days ago. Now it's 45. So this is Northeast weather. All right, so we're opening up here in 5 seconds, boys. Let's look where we go. There's the bell. I'm going to put SPY down here. You got the 50-day moving average down here at the 378, 379 area if this wants to sell off. Yesterday's lows, it kind of bounced off of this 378 before reclaiming the 50. Pre-market lows there, held up a little bit. But like anything can happen, obviously. You guys know this. But if you are a beginner watching, anything can happen in the first 15 minutes or so of the market. It could get really wild. You're kind of breaking down here. So you have the S&P down just about 0.75%. It's 70 down there, Eric? That's nice. Lost the 200 on the 15-minute chart. Yeah. So where can price go from here? Where can the micro E-mini go from here? I mean, it looks like it's going to have a magnet, right? To try to get down to, where we saw some really big demand come in, possibly 3,800. But I mean, you can see here since after hours, the trend has been down, right? This is the trend. Lower highs, lower lows. Just going to eat my breakfast, so don't judge me. Some Greek yogurt, blueberries, and coffee. With possibly the biggest spoon that was left in my drawer. Everything else is in the dishwasher. My kids have to use a million spoons, a million forks, and I don't even know what they do with them. I'm sure half of them end up in the garbage. You know how kids are. Rob, if you're there, what are you seeing right now on the micro? Or are you just waiting it out? I do expect some kind of range to develop, but that election result wasn't very bullish. And it's not over yet, but that's not very bullish for equities. We wanted to see a divided government, but I don't really know that outcome, how that's going to work out. Just looking back at previous days, it looks like that first 5 minute or 30-minute candle has been pretty red before we get a bounce at 10 a.m. So keep that in mind. That first 30-minute candle going back here to last week has been red, 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 red. 10 a.m. bounce, 10 a.m. bounce, 10 a.m. bounce. So I don't know. Just a little pattern here, maybe. Yeah, I would be having ice cream also at 8:30 p.m. Rob? And you need the Red Bull because you got to go another what, 8 hours? It's crazy. 3808. Nice. It's funny how these things they'll rip up, little bear flags on the way down. They'll keep going down until there really is a clear sign of a reversal. So far, I haven't seen it unless it doesn't break this 3,800. If it breaks the 3,800, then there should be more downside. But if it doesn't, and if it holds up here, I mean, we're only 6 minutes in. We're 6 minutes in. Not really holding my breath for anything. Not even going to try to predict anything at this point. This is all algorithms. They want to move the market a certain way to gain liquidity so that a lot of suckers, well, a lot of retail traders, they get caught in these traps. Like you can see here, these traps, right? And then it gets pushed up. Trap, pushed up. So, they do this and then they just buy at the lows. So there you go. You got to break down. Rob, you still in this? Watch the 3,800. If that breaks, then you're probably going down to 395, maybe more. If 3,800 here breaks, that's a good short, Rob. If you're sticking with that. All right. $37.85. Okay, Eric. 3,800 has definitely held so far, but like I said, at this point, anything's possible. What's everything else doing? Disney got absolutely hammered. $88 a share. Meta has been outperforming big time since that was under $90 a share. I think I said last week that is absolutely incredible deal. But I've also been saying it's been a great deal since 140. So Meta is just shaking out probably some shorts. 3,800 held up so far, unless it's another bear flag. Can't even work with this spoon. Like a shovel. Yeah, we don't catch falling knives. Exactly. Sure is testing that. Nice push. It's got to break that trend line here, though. $38.08. Having trouble breaking trend a little bit since the open. Still okay, though. There you go. Whoop. Back down. Rob, we all have. Yesterday was a disaster. For me, anyway. Not for you. You did good. Disaster area for me. Joke. What a joke of a day. Horrible. Yesterday. I love when it breaks out like that. That's great. Yeah, Rob, you might have to wait until CPI tomorrow. Those big moves. Those big E mini moves. Just go all E mini tomorrow. Just go heavy. I am just kidding around. I've been there before trying to trade those big days with the big boy, the E minis, and it could be a real emotional roller coaster for sure. All right, Rob, you want bands? I'm going bands. Let's see if we can figure this out real quick. click on the indicator, edit it, upper band. All right, we got an upper band. It's going to be, what do we want the upper band to be? Red. Apply. We're going bottom band now. Bottom band, we're going green, right? Why would it be green? Because that's where we want to buy it, right? Is that where we want to buy? All right, the bands are in, but they got to be thicker. Can't see that. Well, not VWAP, that's fine. Upper band, thicker. Lower band, thicker. So the boys can see. Nice little breakout there of trend. Opposite. Yeah, upper red, lower green. That's just the way I always draw my my things out. I think of trading a little bit like, you know, a little differently there. Even my trend lines. So Rob, is this the bounce here off of this that you were talking about? So this is if you're using bands, this right here, I'm always looking for these multiple confluence, you know, trades. But, you know, it's tough. VWAP is tough off the open. Let's be honest. It doesn't get clearer until you get a little bit further into the day, you know, and then you start to get a nice range here. It's a nice candle here on the 1 minute. A 10-point candle. Heavy volume. Heavy volume. Still down over 0.5% on the S&P 500. So just keep that in mind. We still are negative on the day, 21 points. But starting to make a little bounce. I've seen these bounces though, and then a pullback, retest, and then a more continued bounce. I'm not trying to get in anybody's head here. I'm just saying I've seen this, you know, this kind of thing happen. But this is a clear breakout too of this trend line. So maybe this trend line gets retested. Who knows? And, you know, like I said, these trend lines, they're okay for, you know, the 1 minute to give you a little bit more of a clear direction, but they're not foolproof at all. Just something to look at, something to be aware of, that's all. Because the trend is this way, right? Longer term trend, let's look at that. Do we even have a longer term trend here? Yeah. All right, we're going to want to take the peaks up here at the UK Open. You got 1 touch, 2 touch. You break it there, though. I don't know if that's really anything. I don't know. Maybe here. I don't know. This just looks like a bunch of lines right now. Still in that auction period. There's the pullback here. Let's see if you get some kind of retest. Look at the trend from 5 minute. Okay. Clear, very clear. Rob, what time frame do you like to use? Got it. What time frame do you like to use with these bands? It's obviously not going to be used on any high time frames. Is a 5 minute Still fine, 5 minute, 3 minute, or do you go up to like 15 minute on the VWAP bands, or do you just do the 1 minute on the bands? You probably go up to 15 minute, right? Yeah, no, I know. I don't use VWAP on like a daily chart. I've been liking a lot the 30 minute lately too. See, for me with the bands on this 30 minute, I can't make heads or tails of what's going on right here. This looks like my daughter's scribbled all over my computer. But if we zoom in, there you go. If you zoom in, it's a little clearer. Is this trend line being retested? Right here? Possibly. This breaks, it's got to be 38 again. I've seen this happen so many times. Just when you think it's going to just rip, you're still in a downtrend. You're still negative. You're still down over 0.75%, which is a lot on the S&P. But there is going to be a range developed here today before CPI. I really do think that. So where we opened up, 9:30. So we opened up at 38.13. So no matter where we go throughout the day, I think maybe we finish at least close to that, right? Like another doji type of daily candle. That trend line again here. Marcus, I don't use the upper band and the lower band. I did that for our friend Rob. I know it's a cleaner view. Rob, you must be laughing over there right now. So just for Marcus right now, I'm going to show him how I do my VWAP. All right, upper band, I don't plot. Lower band, I don't plot. I apply. This is what my chart looks like. A lot cleaner. I only have VWAP, but this morning I just wanted to try something out there, as Rob was saying, because the two standard deviations in a range bound day, that could be very helpful. So Rob, you're 100% right. When you're in that type of before CPI, especially tomorrow, that's not a bad idea. Look at how this bounces off of this trend line. Like I said, these trend lines were still in that first 30 minutes, but I've seen this happen before where we've come back down, retested, to then make that 10 a.m. push up, which we've seen going back on this. Just going to take this off for now. Remove all. we've seen this first 30 minutes of each trading day, be pretty red, right? Red, 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 until 10 a.m., where we've seen that dip buy. Doesn't mean it has to happen again today, but that's just something, always looking back at history to see that historical pattern, right? Seeing that historical pattern of that first initial sell-off, before seeing something maybe start to move a little bit better. Let's see if we can make a higher low here, or if we really do get that full retest. There you go. Broke down. Is it going to come down to 3,800 again? And by the way, this is just the micro E-mini that I'm following right now. I know a lot of the guys in our Discord trade this, as do I. I like to trade this also. It's just following the S&P 500. It's following the SPY. Let's see how this does around 38. Boom. Oof. Oh, there you go. Wow. What do you think? Real or stop loss hunting? Real or stop loss hunting? Let's see what happens. That's a big drop. A lot of stops under there. You can just see that, right? Scooping up all those orders. Big breakdown. Man, I would love to get this on video if this really does turn out to be that. Because obviously your stop loss is going to be under this 3,800, right? You don't think people know that? Let's see if it continues. What happens here? So on SPY, I'm always looking at SPY also, just so you guys know. This is the 50-day moving average that it just plowed through on the 5-minute. Plowed through, but we saw this happen yesterday here during crypto crisis. It broke down, but then in 5 minutes, it was back above. So look at that. Man. Do they know how to get those stop losses or what? That was a lot of volume there. Yeah, yeah, that was. I mean, that definitely took out stops either way. Even if it does come back down, either way, that took out stops, no matter what happens here. And then you get even more frustrated when then, you know, it breaks down there and you end up revisiting 37.92, maybe more. But, you know, that yesterday, it was more. I mean, there was definitely demand. This is a demand zone here. That's definitely demand there. But this just goes to show how hard day trading is, right? I got to take off some of these. Broke trend, came back down, tested the trend line, and now look at this. Pathetic. Pathetic. Took out all those stops. I mean, either way, you're taking stops out at 37.95 and you get a push up 15 points in 4 minutes. 15 points in 4 minutes. That's a day trade. That's a huge algo trade that you could get there. I mean, not us, obviously, but that's what they do. Like Rob said here, Trap City. Just taking out that very clear where people's stops would be, especially after this big run up, and then you pull on back. So you got 10 a.m. now. You got 10 a.m. It's I mean, it's been whatever, decently choppy. Not really. It's been choppy, but you know, this is kind of expected. All right, I'll let you guys go. Yeah, if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up for the video if you guys are still in here. Appreciate all the comments. I'll see you guys in Discord in 1 minute. All right. Take care, guys.